Welcome to Just Write Julie, the writing podcast where craft meets strategy and creativity meets clarity. I'm Julie Navickas, romance author, corporate communications pro, and university instructor. Most writing podcasts stay in one lane. This one brings together three: craft, career, and communication. Each episode features authors, editors, and marketers to help you strengthen the work, position it, and talk about it with confidence. If you're ready to write better and share your work with intention, you're in the right place. Just Write Julie. Let's get to work. Welcome to Just Write Julie, the podcast where writing meets strategy and creativity meets clarity. I'm your host, Julie Navickas, a multi-published agented romance author, a communications pro, and a university instructor. And I am thrilled to be here on this episode of Just Write Julie with Lenora Henson, founder of Poppy and Oak Creative. Lenora, welcome.
Hi, Julie. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here today.
Oh, I am thrilled. I have been looking forward to this for weeks. I am dying to have a conversation with you because you're just the master of all things publishing. I can't wait to talk.
Oh, that's funny. Thank you.
Well, Lenora, why don't we start our conversation with a pretty easy one? Tell all of our listeners, how do you and I know each other? How did we professionally connect, and what's our working relationship like?
Yes. So I think it was back in 2020, 2021, maybe.
Mhm.
We were working for the same publishing company. So we worked together virtually at that point, and then come to find out we lived in the same town.
That's right.
So it was fun. We were able to get together in person as well. Fast forward a few years, and I've moved a few times since then.
We have.
But where I'm at now, we are not that far from each other, so we are still able to get together in person, professionally, and of course, just for coffee and book talk, which is always fun.
It's the best.
And then we have a wonderful virtual relationship with a mastermind, and just being able to come to you for so many things and have great conversations like this.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said before, you have just been a wealth of information and have taught me so much over this author journey that I was really excited to bring you on the show. And then others can hear from your wise wisdom as well. So
Thank you.
well, Lenora, let's kick us off. When I think of you, I think of kind of a tagline, right? Do the next right thing. So can you tell us a little
Mhm.
bit about what does that mean to you, and how does that work for authors kind of navigating this publishing landscape?
Yeah. So I've been around for a while, and a while, um, a decade or so in this business. And what I know is that it's really loud and saturated
Mhm.
and very busy. The publishing industry is. It's exciting, and it's fun, and it's so rewarding, and I love it. But you can get very overwhelmed very quickly, especially a new author coming into this space, or even a veteran author, and all these new things are going on, and all this shiny stuff. But if you have a plan, it can really neutralize that overwhelm.
Exactly. And you're right. You point out something so valid too, though, that there's so much noise and there's so much like shiny object syndrome, when it comes to this industry, that it's really difficult to know, what do I jump head first into? What do I push pause on? What do I save my money for? What do I plan? What do I
Mm,
do in advance? And a lot of what I've learned from you over the years, because I am an impulsive person and I'm like, let's go, let's do it, let's try it.
yeah.
But you've taught me a lot about patience. And I'm wondering if you
Mm.
have a few words to share about, what's the value of patience in the publishing industry?
It is everything.
Yes.
It is everything. It's everything from making sure that your manuscript is top notch, and making sure your book cover is the way you want it to be, and even from the time that you finish all that stuff, before you hit that publish button, give yourself time. Be patient. Even you have a few books out there. Maybe you you take your time, you try something and then you take your time with it to see what kind of results you're going to get. Um, I see authors try things and they don't get results right away. And it's so frustrating because they put so much effort into this business, right?
For real.
Um, but be patient. The newsletter list is going to grow. Those sales are going to be steady. I'd rather see them be steady, than spike and then nothing for 10 years or whatever. If you're building something, then just be patient every step along the way. Your book is going to live forever.
Right. Yeah.
That's perspective. So when you put it in that perspective, um, patience is everything.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so beautifully put too, because it's really hard to think about like your entire collective career because everything needs to happen now. And it is an industry that moves really fast, but at the same time, it's painfully slow. And so it's so easy,
Yes.
right, to jump on things. And you're like, "Ooh, this author is doing this, and maybe I should have a Substack too," right? And so you dive headfirst
Mm,
into these things. But I don't know that that really serves you, right? So there's so much value and just being patient and seeing what the results are, and you can make those tweaks and those modifications. But I want to let's go back a little bit. I know I take us off into a different train sometimes, but one of your really strong attributes, and especially what you do with Poppy and Oak Creative, is you think about the
hmm
foundation, right? You have
mm,
to build
hmm
from somewhere. You can't just jump all in and have 18 different social media platforms and a half
Right.
manuscript and you're focused on editing, but also building a website, right? Like there's too much. So I know that one of the core pieces of advice that you offer authors is to establish that strong foundation. So what are
hmm
some of those foundational pieces that every author should have in place before you're like into marketing and launches and all the things?
Yeah. In my opinion, the social media is just like a
Yeah,
branch off of it.
sure.
But a lot of people want to start there. I would start with, just opening up an email marketing platform of some
Mhm.
sort. Having a business email
Yeah,
is important. And that seems so simple, but
right.
that stems off of everything else, or,
Yes.
it goes off of everything else. So, um, starting a newsletter, get your reader magnet at the same time or even before your manuscript is done. If you can get that reader magnet like 10% of your book and have it available to start collecting, building your email list.
Yes.
That's one of the most valuable things, in my opinion, a foundational thing.
Mm.
Get your metadata right. Know your keywords, know your categories, your genre. Don't just guess on those things because it can be very valuable to dial it in on so many levels. It can help you with your blurb. It can help you with, SEO. It can help you with so many things. So that's foundational, in my opinion. Um, know what Have a plan and know what your personal bandwidth is
Oof, yeah.
as you move into this, and budget. Know what your budget is because it's going to get real quick on both fronts, time and money.
For
And
real.
yes, and put a support group together because your family's going to get sick of hearing about it real quick.
I can attest
They
to
will.
that. Yes.
Yes, they will. So, and those are things that most authors probably wouldn't think about, but
Right.
they can be super helpful and another thing is, when you decide to sell your book, anybody could write a book, but whenever you decide to publish and sell it, it's a business. It becomes a business. And so you're suddenly wearing a new hat. It's not just some creative venture. So education. Education is huge on so many different fronts. So those are all foundational, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh, and such valuable advice. And you just don't know those things as a new author. You
Yeah.
just simply think,
Yep.
I'm going to write a book and then someone's going to publish it for me. And while that might be true, there's
Yeah.
so many other pieces that need to fall into place. And you suddenly are wearing an incredibly large amount of hats, and you're learning how to wear those hats at the same time.
hmm
Let's go back
For
to
sure.
email newsletter because you have given me
Mm,
personally just some fantastic insight. I've made lots of
good.
modifications and changes, and it's prompted me to go back and revisit old work and just really think through the strategic, like process of how you reach readers. And so that email newsletter foundational. Is that a service that you provide for Poppy and Oak, the clients that you work with, or you kind of walk clients through, or tell me a little bit about what that looks like?
I do. It is foundational, and I do help authors get set up on platforms,
Yeah.
build their templates out, maybe build their welcome sequence out, their nurture sequence, help them get their landing pages set up
Yes.
for their reader magnets. And if they want to do newsletter swaps, I help facilitate those and group promos, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, and really show them how to, even if they want to take it over, even if they don't want to have a long-term relationship with me where I
Mhm.
just do that for them, which
Right.
I can set it up and then I can set it up and do it for you also. That's a service I provide, but showing them how to utilize it and, even from subject lines and what people care about,
Yeah.
right? So I have found with some authors, and I've seen it, that the newsletter can be one of the biggest sales channels for, it's for getting book sales.
Yeah.
So bigger than social media, because it's more intimate and people are spending more time if they're taking the time to open up your newsletter. Not everybody's going to.
No, of course
I
not.
mean, it's not rock solid, but
Right.
they're going to spend probably more time there than they will be just scrolling through. And it's going to be more meaningful,
Yeah.
if they're clicking a link there, whereas they're just scrolling through social media, it's a dime a dozen that way.
Yep.
So I
Mhm.
just feel like it's more intimate.
Absolutely. It's just that was one of the tools that I never really thought that hard about because you think like, oh, I have a huge
Ah,
social media following. I'll be fine. That's how I sell books, right? No, that is not a strategy, let me tell you. And
yeah.
it takes time to build up a really strong reader base, right? Where you're going to be sharing a newsletter out. I know I
Hmm.
personally send one, once every month. I try to do that just to stay connected with readers. Here are some updates, things like that. But it's such a valuable way to build that community. And I love that that was a piece of advice you gave me so early because it doesn't happen overnight, right? So it's really something you have to do to cultivate,
Yeah.
that reading community.
Absolutely. And you have been so consistent with yours. And I think that's important too, to not abandon it. Again,
Yeah,
patience comes in there. You've started it and you continue with it and you're seeing it grow.
exactly.
You're not gonna be an overnight sensation with this.
No.
It's something that you nurture and yeah, just
Yeah,
grows over time.
it's a long-term strategy, but
It
like
is. It's a
now it does.
marathon.
Yeah, it does, and it pays off with that with that patience, right?
Sure, sure. So whenever your next book comes out, you've got a built-in audience right there.
Hmm.
Right there. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, huge value there too. So kind of feed off of this a little bit. So I use
Hmm.
MailChimp. That's just been like the tool that I've used for a few years. It's worked well. I know there are some other platforms that offer similar things. But my
Hmm.
question to you is like we've already just kind of brought up here, there's always something shiny and new, right? And there's always a way to be creative, right? I'm going to try this new template and this new graphic and ooh, a video and ooh, audio. And like there's always something to do that's in that creative space. But you're
Mm,
more of the strategic element, at least from our discussion so far. You think about what's going to
right.
be the larger payoff, what's going to work best with our patience and persistence, right? So, how does an
Hmm.
author balance that excitement for creativity, but also that business strategic side?
It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky because sometimes they intermingle,
Hmm.
right? But if you're too far into the business side of it, watching the numbers and all that stuff, then you lose the fun of it, which is the creativity side of it.
Exactly.
Um, that's a good question. I think you sometimes do have to separate it and say, I'm going to spend this amount of time,
Right.
checking my numbers and maybe doing the business part of it, but not. And I would do that. It depends on where you're at as an author.
Yeah.
There are some authors you may need to check that stuff every morning, or maybe you're a morning writer, but maybe put some space between it.
Hmm.
But don't do all one and then ignore the other. I've been in that space and I'm paying for it today.
It's
Yeah.
hard because
Because
one's
you do get
obviously more fun.
rusty.
Exactly.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
so along those same lines, right? I think that it's the default in our society today, right? Is everything goes on social media, right? You're telling your story, you're building your brand, you use social media to connect with other people. And I know I've done this. I've made this mistake before where you just go all in and you think social media is the way to
Yeah.
find readers and connect. But through many conversations I've shared with you, that might not be the best strategy, right? It's very easy to get burned out on social media. The one
Mm.
that inevitably hits because it does, and you're like, I cannot post one more thing, right? Or I cannot talk about myself or
Yeah.
my books one more time. What alternative recommendations do you have to really build that connection with readers, but still maintain that momentum?
That's a great question, and I'm passionate about it.
I know you are.
Um, I have, I don't, social media. I'm not on that train anymore. I haven't been
No,
for a
it's
while, and
not.
you can tell. Um, and you can tell, but I think I just crave what's real. And so my advice would be if you're on that hamster wheel
Yes.
and everything is probably suffering if you're on that hamster wheel. It's not just your author brand. Um, just get off of it. Just jump off of it, even if it means you have to deactivate for a while. That's pretty extreme. But you can even balance it, but get out, get into public, go to author events, be in an author event, go to a signing, be at a signing, go to workshops, go to the library, join a book club, host a book club with your book.
Yes.
Do something, yes, do something in person, be experimentative, go on a book tour. Um, I love coming up with all these new ideas for that. Again, I'm super passionate about it because I've seen it work
Yes.
and I've seen it help balance out that social media hamster wheel that we talk about.
Mhm.
You're connecting with readers, you're connecting with reality,
Right.
and that's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So, that's my advice. And it doesn't have to be forever, or you
Right.
balance the two nicely.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
That, I mean, superb advice. It just really is because, like I said, like your default is just like I'm just going to post online all the time, right? And make your cute little
Yeah.
graphics in Canva, and that's
Mhm.
that. But I'm even thinking just from my experience, like I don't know that I've really connected with a whole lot of readers just through social media.
Mm,
I mean, you might get
yeah.
a few,
Hmm.
but the more meaningful connections I've made have been standing behind a table when I'm holding my book and somebody walks up and reads the back cover and they ask me questions about it. And it's that genuine
Hmm.
connection that even though it takes time and you might only be connecting with one reader in that moment, long-term strategy again, right? That's a reader for life if they enjoy that story. So,
That's right. And you're going to give them a business card with a QR code or a postcard or something to take
right.
with them, a part of you, and maybe they go follow you on social media after that.
Right.
That's what I do when I meet an author,
You.
and I like the book. I go
Mhm.
follow them or I go leave a review. Are you leaving them that crumb where they can go leave a review for you? Um, and I see you balance this really well, Julie. You do. I'm so proud of you because you do so many things. I'm just like, her, it's her. She's doing it right.
So sweet.
And balancing that social media with the in-person events, you do it beautifully.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's very very kind of you to say because it does take a lot of time. And like
it
we pointed
does.
out, lots of authors, right? Like we do this by ourselves, unless we have wonderful support like Poppy and O Creative, right, who can help us along the way. Much of it is when
Yeah.
opportunities come up, you compare it to the calendar, you make arrangements, you figure it out. But there's no one doing that for you unless you're,
Mm,
I guess, a really big name author. We can all dream,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a choice. It's a choice for sure.
Hmm.
So Lenora, one thing that's been on my mind, I know you and I have often talked about this too, is, writing is a very solitary endeavor, right? You sit for
Yeah.
hours, you stare at a screen, you're in your own head, you're in your own story, working with characters that don't exist anywhere else. So one of the lovely things that I know that, you and I have cultivated over time is this working relationship where we can strategize and be strategic about things, But, when you're working with a client, how do you help them emotionally through the journey outside of just the strategy portion, which you're really good at?
Well, yeah, that can be tricky, but also rewarding
Yeah.
because I'll be in a call, with an author, and sometimes, sometimes they want to talk about the frustrations
Yeah.
or the wins. They want somebody to celebrate with,
Yeah.
and
Who gets
maybe
it?
nobody else around them understands it.
Yeah.
Well, I do, and I love being a cheerleader for people. I love encouraging them, and and in some cases that might be the only encouragement they're getting for this thing.
That's true.
um so yeah, yeah, and sometimes maybe they just want to talk about it. They just want to talk about the book, or
Yes.
they want to talk about anything that's going on surrounding that. I listen and I understand, and I'm super authentic about it because
You
I,
are.
I can't be anything else.
You're like, it's
That's who
not
I
my
am.
personality to be anything other. Yeah.
No, they don't. Um, so so I think I'm a good listener, and because I understand the industry, I think people respond to that,
You do.
um, because they don't necessarily have that support outside of them,
Mhm.
and that's okay. Not everybody has to,
No,
love what you're doing or even care about it. It's your thing.
it is your
Do you care about chess or gardening, or somebody else's hobby? And granted, it's not just a hobby for a lot of people; it's a business,
It
right?
is. Mhm.
Um, I think you get my point there, though.
I
So
do. Yep. No, and I just think it's so valid though, because you're right. Until you're in it and you experience it and you know what those wins feel like and you know what those lows feel like, it's really
yes,
important that the support system you have or those you've, put in place to help you through the journey, that they understand too. It's an
yeah,
emotional journey as well as a strategic one, because like you point out, at the end of the day, it's a business or it becomes a business very quickly.
it is. And sometimes authors just want to like brainstorm stuff. What do you think about this?
Right.
Do you think this would work? Do you think I can pull it off? Different ideas, and I love being experimenting in this world. It's so fun,
Mhm.
without having the shiny, syndrome. Um, yeah,
Exactly.
wise experimentation, pragmatism.
I love
I
that.
say
Yes, that.
it.
Well, Lenore, we've talked about a lot in a very short amount of time here, but everything from patience and building a foundation as an author, from your email newsletter to social media presence. Um, One thing I like to do on this podcast is, if anybody tuned in for, a minute, right, of our conversation, what's the most important takeaway that you would leave with someone?
Mm. I would say understand this truth. Your book is going to live forever. Your books are going to live forever. So be patient with the process
Mm,
every step of the way, and just do the next right thing.
I love that. So beautifully put. And it's just such golden advice that you just don't, it doesn't resonate until you've been in it for a few years and you think, oh, it truly doesn't happen overnight. So be patient,
Yeah.
be strategic, right? And do the next right thing.
Hmm.
I love
That's
that.
right.
Well said. Well, Lenora, where can readers or listeners, where can they find you? I know you have a fantastic 7-day author newsletter blueprint that I think would be of interest to many people who are thinking through that
Yes.
email newsletter and how to be successful. Where can they find it?
Yes, they can go to my website, poppyandoakcreative.com. There they can sign up for my newsletter, The Next Right Thing,
Love it.
coincidentally, and and they'll be able to get that download for free.
That's
Yep.
fantastic. And for anyone who's listening, trust me, take it from me. Lenora is extremely knowledgeable, incredibly wise, and she's got your back. She has helped me in more ways than I can even count.
Um, Same.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed our conversation. I know we hit a lot of topics, but they're all extremely valuable. And knowing us, we could probably spend the next 14 hours talking about all of them in detail, but we'll cut it here.
That sounds great.
Well, thank you again, Lenora, for joining me today on the Just Right Julie show, where writing meets strategy and creativity meets clarity. I hope today's conversation gave everyone listening something new to try on the page, in your career, or in how you talk about your work. You can follow along and subscribe to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And if this was an episode that helped you, please consider leaving a review or sharing it with a writer friend who could use these resources too. For more tools, templates, and behind the scenes lessons, visit author julienavickas.com and connect with me on social media. Until next time, just write and don't be afraid to be strategic about it.